If you want to get to Champions League, you gotta be able to make consistent arena points. Unless you are an absolute god at the game, you're gonna have to play differently than those top tier pros. And this is a video that's going to show you how to play in a consistent way as an average competitive player and make it to Champions League. First things first, as you can tell here, I'm going straight to disco. It is very important that you have the exact same drop spot every single game. No matter how many people are landing there, no matter which direction the bus is going, you always want to land at the exact same spot. This is going to allow you to really understand how to take early game fights at the area. It's going to allow you to understand how to rotate where the chests are, where the different types of mats are. And it's gonna take you about 20 to 30 games before you really understand a given drop spot. So give it time, but be consistent. Do not land anywhere else. We finish up looting at disco. We think it's right to go down into these houses over here and get a little bit of additional loot since we are in circle this time, guys. There are times that the second zone is not in. If the first circle is not on disco, which happens a lot, if it's a very northern circle and there's a lot of room to go, I will literally take a boat and drive all the way around the map to find the dead side of the second zone and avoid any possible mid-game fights. There's a minute left before the first circle starts to close. This is really when you want to start clamming up and refusing to take any fights at all. It's also important to get as many mats as you possibly can to get yourself set up for the end game here. So I'm axing this bus to get some extra metal and any loot that comes off of it. So after I finish axing this bus, I noticed that there are some builds going on in here. So I could say for sure that there is somebody in this building. I decided in this case to check it out and see what's going on. I don't see any walls that have been replaced yet. So that's an indicator to me that this is not a very good player and he's trying to hide. We end up getting in a build fight and I end up clapping him. Looking back and reviewing this footage, it's not smart to take this fight. This is not a good fight to take. It could have easily gone the other way where he clapped me. Let's see, there's 32 left. I've gained 0 points this game. We are at negative net points if I lose this fight. All right, first zone is closing and second zone is pretty far north. So I'm really trying to find a path to the second zone where I'm not gonna need to fight anybody. So you can see the third circle has appeared here and we are trying to position ourselves in the dead center of it. I always try and make it as deep as possible into the third zone without taking too much damage or without expending too many mats. If you're in the center of the third zone, it's the least likely that you're gonna need to make a far rotation. The next zone appears, and since I was in the middle of the third zone, I'm already really close. In fact, I'm actually in the next zone. That being said, I have the exact same strategy with zone number 4 as well. I wanna get as close as possible to the center of it to avoid any long distance rotations with the next congested zone. So I'm gonna go ahead and try and rotate here. So as I rotate, I see this guy's coming down as well. He's gonna try and push me here. I get a tag on him. It breaks out into a full-on fight. We get in a build battle, but he ends up getting clapped. Controller player with a tac shotgun in this game. It's pretty much the last person you want to be in the same box with. Why was that a smart fight to take? Everybody tells me not to take mid-game fights. And as you can see here, this is the latter portion of the mid-game still. We're not in end game yet. It's not in moving zones. Why was that a good fight to take? Understand the pointing system for arena. At top 25, you get 60 points. And at top 15, you get 40 points. So we have already amassed 100 points just from placement in this game alone. And since that guy was number 14 before I killed him, we had already secured the points. If I had died at that point, this is still a net positive game. I'm still climbing the ladder consistently. If there's more than 25 people left or more than 15 people left, you really need to think twice about taking fights at this stage in the game. I didn't feel like it was safe to rotate any farther towards the center here in zone 4. Plus I had a bunch of mats from killing that guy. So I'm just branching out as much as possible using all of the mats from his kill. I didn't make it to the center of this zone. You can see that if I were at the center of this zone, it would be a much easier rotation into half and half. I rotate most of this on foot. I don't need to tunnel or anything. So we're chilling. We're built out of metal. I did take a few shots, so I have to use some of my heals to heal up. And the first moving zone pulls pretty far here. I don't have any explicit rotation items like bounce pads or grappler or launch pads. So I'm pretty much stuck to doing this one on foot. At this point in the game, we are officially in endgame. So if there's an opportunistic way to get a kill, I'm going to take it, but I'm not going to force fights. You do not want to laser focus on individual players. That's going to get you eliminated, and there's a lot of points to be gained in the endgame between eliminations and placement. You want to be focusing on rotating and only taking the fights that you need. That guy was shambles. He got clapped pretty quickly, which allowed me to get a quick refresh on mats, and I'm just continuing to rotate here. My primary focus is getting in the front of zone and avoiding fights unless they are in my favor to start with. And then I see this guy taking high ground who becomes my next biggest threat, but I crack him. So I understand that this guy's very low. I'm willing to fight this guy if he appears on me right now. But after falling off that build accidentally, it's no longer opportunistic. But there's only 5 players left at this point. This is not a super congested zone. At this point, I'm pretty much full tunneling, because if I'm not going to full tunnel at this point and protect all the angles with other players, I'm going to take damage. Thinking about looking for a kill if I could find one. I rotate a little bit late there. I probably could have started rotating earlier. I get in a bad fight, take 50 damage to Storm. I had no mats, so I had to drop back down. All right, guys, so it's very important here that we actually did not end up winning this game. Don't focus on winning games. Don't focus on dropping 20 bombs. Focus on consistency. Find a strategy that's going to allow you to gain 1,000 arena points a day. If I had to boil all of this advice down into 3 primary bullet points, number 1 would be always land at the exact same landing spot. Number 2 would be do not take mid-game fights. And number 3 would be do not tunnel vision in the end game on one particular kill. So that sums it up for this video, guys. I hope you learned something about how to create your own consistent arena point strategy. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.